How's it going, everybody? We're here today for a lower body and core workout. This is going to be a quick workout, about 25 minutes. We have 6 exercises and we're going to repeat them 3 times. 4 of those exercises are lower body and 2 of them are core. So we're going to do 2 lower body, 1 core, 2 lower body, 1 core. Repeat that 3 times. We only have a 20-second break between rounds just to kind of reset and get back into it. I'm wearing sneakers today. You could do this workout in bare feet if you like. We will be using dumbbells. I've got my 12s and my 10s here. I'm going to try to do this workout with my 12s, but just in case I get tired, I've got my 10s here to grab them if I need them. If you have 2 sets, that's great. If you only have light weights, you can still do this workout, okay? The first round, I'm going to go a little bit slower just so that you can get into the swing of things, and then for the second and third round we'll pick up our pace and try to get a few more reps in. I'd love for you to go to look at the deadlift tutorial that I've just loaded up on the platform, just to get a really good idea of deadlifts. We're going to be doing deadlifts as number 2 today, Romanian deadlifts, and the form on that exercise is really important. So I've done a tutorial. Please go and look at it before we get started. I'll be talking about it as we're working, but if you've seen it before you do it, it's a really great idea. There's also some other tutorials on there about squatting and lunging, how to use weights, so make sure you check those out. Also, please make sure you've done a warm-up. This is not the kind of workout that you want to just jump into. Even if you don't do one of the ones on the platform, do a few squats, a few lunges, just to make sure that you're ready for this workout, okay? That's going to stop you from getting injured, and that's really important to you, and it's really important to me, okay? I'm going to set our timer, and let's get into this. So we just have a little bit, few seconds to get ourselves ready. The first exercise, we'll need 2 dumbbells, 1 in each hand. And let's do this thing. You're listening for the gong sound, and also the little jingle tells you you're halfway through, and then the gong means that we're going into the next exercise. Number 1, bring these weights up above your head. You're going to hold them here. We're going into our reverse lunge alternating. Stepping back, both knees bend, and we stand tall. And down, and stand tall. Side to side. Now, if having your arms up here isn't working for you, you're going to have them down beside you holding like suitcases, okay? So if the arms above your head is too much, we're going to bring them down and hold them at your side. We're driving the front heel down into the floor. There's a balance component to this exercise. Down and up. We're already halfway through this round. You don't have to touch your knee to the floor. Just control the motions. Breathing deeply. Number 2, we're coming into our Romanian deadlift. You're going to bring the weights in front of your thighs, little bend in your knees. Now create a nice long spine, hinging at the hips. Send your bum way back, keep your spine long, and drag the weights down your legs to the middle of your shin. Exhale, squeeze your glutes, drag the weights back up your legs. So the weight, your fingers should actually be dragging down your legs. Look at my spine, nice and long. Exhale, drag them back up. Inhale, we go down. Exhale, pull up. Squeeze. So there's no squat in this. We're hinging at the hips, reaching our spine out long, and then pulling that long spine back vertical. Out. And exhale. And down. And pull up. If this hurts your back at all, you're going to omit this exercise and go to shoulder bridges instead. Great work. Okay, putting those weights down, come down to your all-fours position. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. We're into our alternating bird dog. Looks like this. Opposite arm, opposite leg, and in. Reach, and in. And from here, tuck your toes. Downward dog. We come back to all square. Reach, opposite arm, opposite leg, stay square. reach, abs are on, downward dog, really lifting through the abdominals, back to square, reach, and reach. There's no rounding in your spine here, so keep your spine so long. The center is your anchor, and then we come up and get that nice length through the back of the legs, and down, reach, reach, and this is our first core exercise, moving from your center. Great work. Okay, we're coming back up to standing. Grabbing your weights, we're into a sumo pulse squat. So slightly turned out at the hips, the weights are in between your legs. We're coming down, and we're gonna come into our squat, long spine, and up, not quite to the top, and down. So this is called a constant tension, where you don't quite hit the bottom and you don't quite hit the top. We just keep the legs working. I want you to focus on the outside, the outer edge of your feet. Glue that pinky toe down to the mat. Up and down, not quite to the top, not quite to the bottom. Up and down. Are you breathing? Notice my chest is lifted, my spine is long here. Up and down. Up and down. Check those feet. And lower, and up, and down. Couple more. Great job. Coming down to the mat. We're going to keep one weight with us, putting it across your hips. This is a single leg bridge. Push up and lower down. Just pick one leg and get started. At the halfway mark, we will switch. Now, if one leg bridge is not working for you, stick with a two-legged bridge. Pressing the hips up, try to stay as balanced and level as you can. Drive the heel into the floor. And switching legs, and lower, and press. Again, if you can do the one legs bridge, but having the weight is too much for you, just take the weight off and do just the bridge. Squeezing the glute like crazy. Pick up your toes if you want to make sure the weight is in your heel. And lifting the hips up and lowering down. Great work. Okay, from here, you're grabbing one dumbbell, bringing it into your hands and holding it like a sword. You're going to bring the legs to tabletop, and we're flexing up and back. Flexing up, rotate to one side, control, and control that weight back. Now, if this weight is making you feel uncomfortable, you could just clasp your hands together, sort of like a Charlie's Angels hand, and use your arms without the weight. Flexing up, reaching the weight past your hips, and return. This is our second core exercise, and back. Flex up, reach, and down. Notice that as the weight goes over my head, I'm not letting it drop. I'm in control of that dumbbell. We're in imprint. You could do this with your legs down. Doesn't matter how many reps, we want to be in control. Awesome work. Turn to your side. We're into our first little break here. It's only 20 seconds. Reset your station. Now we'll try to pick up our pace just a little bit. So the first one will have the weights overhead if you're going there. And if not, just at your side. Let's get into those reverse lunges. Lifting the weights up, set the shoulders, and we're into it. When you have the weights above your head like this, you have to really work to keep your core engaged. Keeping that belly button connected, keeping your torso nice and balanced. Breathe it out. hold these weights above our head. Make sure you're breathing. Almost there. Stay in control. Coming up next, we have those deadlifts. Great job. Okay, so set yourself up well. Legs are parallel. Drag the weights down to the middle of your shins. Bum goes back, spine is long. Exhale, drag them back up. Squeeze the glutes and lengthen out. Feel the length in your hamstrings and then use the hamstrings to stand back up. There's no squat here. Hinge at the hips, drag it back up. Down, abs are on like crazy. And pulling back. We gotta support our back with this kind of move. Down, exhale, drag up. Squeeze the glutes. We don't wanna over thrust the hips. So as you come tall, stay tall. Don't let your hips go forward. And exhale, drag up. Down. And we've got that first core move coming up next. We have our bird dogs with the downward dog. All the dogs. Come out to your all fours, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. We reach across. And the other side. And then we tuck the toes, downward dog. And then use your core here to place the knees back down really quietly. Reach, downward dog. And control that lower back to square. Reach. As if you're moving through water here. And downward dog. And place it back down. You have to create your own tension when you're not using weights. Keep your torso long. Keep these moves out of your lower back, in your hips and shoulders. We're coming up to those sumo squat, constant tension sumo squat. Great work. All right, coming back to your feet, getting a hold of those dumbbells or a single dumbbell, whatever you're using. Turn out at the hips and just again, check my posture here. Long spine. When I go down into my squat, turned out at the hip, almost to the top and lower, almost to the bottom and back up. There's no stopping here. Press it up and down. So we're not hitting the end range on either end. We're not going all the way down and we're not going all the way up. Stopping just before. Now don't let those shoulders roll forward. Stay pulling the shoulder blades back on your back, keeping your chest up. Down and up. Down and up. We're almost there. These are tough. Coming to that single leg bridge, we do one leg for the first half, the other leg for the second. Up and down. Breathe it out. Whew. Brutal. Okay, keep one with you, one dumbbell with you, as fast as you can. Onto your back, single leg bridge. Drag the heel a little closer to your bum. And we push the hips up. Notice if your pelvis is askew, you want to try to keep it as level as possible. Can you connect with your belly button and gently drive downward? This is really hard. Again, if one leg is too much, just stick with two and do the exact same motion. Let's switch legs, lower with control, and pick it up. We don't want to be dropping our hips. Be in control all the way down. And up. down. And we have that flexion rotation move coming up next to finish off this round. And lower. Great work. Okay, so I'm going to grab my 10 because it's a little bit lighter. So if you have a lighter weight, you can use that. We're coming up, flex up, rotate, reach the weight past your hips. I'm in imprint with my legs in tabletop. Having the legs up is optional. Notice that as the weight goes over your head, we don't lose our rib cage into a pop forward. We keep that rib and hip connected. Exhale, flex and reach. And back. Collarbone is open here. We don't want to collapse through our shoulders as we flex up. Lead with your sternum, with your breastbone. And back. Almost there. Great work, you guys. Okay, let that go. Turn to your side. This is our last break. We're heading into our last round. Whew, this is my first workout back since having COVID recently, and I'm really feeling it. Feeling very tired, but glad to be back. All right, let's bring those weights overhead. Last round here, reverse lunges. Step back, drive the heel down, stand tall. This is all about the front leg. Whatever leg in front is the worker. Down and press up. Can we connect with our center? Imagine you're wearing a belt right around the middle of your body here. And that belt's just a little bit too tight. I want you to visualize, what would you do? If the belt was a little too tight, you would draw in a little bit, right? Let's do the same thing here. Even if your hands are at your side, find your center and just connect with it through your breath and just through thinking about that area, the mind-body connection. Down and press up. Down and press. Almost there. Coming up, we have those deadlifts. Back and up. Breathe it out. Great job. Okay, let's do this. Little bend in your knees. Send your bum way back. Reach the sit bones back. Feel for that hamstring length. And then drag the weights back up. The spine is not rounding with the weights. And back. Doesn't matter how many we do. Just we're learning this form. And how can you recruit muscles from behind you and also your abdominals to help you come back to standing? Reach it out. Abs are lifting away from the mat here and drag up. And back down. And up. Keep your chest open and lifted. Bird dogs and downward dog coming up next. Exhale. Great work, everybody. Let's go down to the mat. Find that square position as quick as you can. Find a bird dog, other pair, and downward dog. And then control back to that square. Head is in line with your spine. Your hips are remaining square. Nice and lifted through the shoulders. And nothing is sinking in this move. And back down. If you're feeling your lower back with those bird dogs, you may be lifting your leg too high. Think of it as a reach rather than a lift. and back down. All right, coming into those sumo squats, turn out at your hips, constant tension. Here we go, lower and up and down. Now I get a little quiver in my legs when I get to the top, especially now that I'm tired. So when we get tired, we have to really work hard to keep everything that we need for support, like our abdominals and our lower back. We need to keep those areas in check as we fatigue. That's how you avoid injury, by being aware of what's happening in your body. Lower and press up. Those single leg bridges are coming up, followed by our last core exercise. I'll take us through a short cool down and we are done. I'm glad to see those go. Keeping one with me as fast as you can into your bridges. One leg or both. Push it up, feel that glute, and lower. For a lot of people, this is going to be hard. Your hamstrings might cramp. If that's the case, go with 2 legs. I'm kind of just resting my weight across my pelvis, adding a little more challenge. And let's switch sides. We have those oblique twists coming up next. All right, imprint your lower back, grabbing a different dumbbell here. Legs go to tabletop. We flex up and rotate. Return with control overhead. And then up and over the other side. It would be really easy to let this weight fall to the floor above my head. I'm not going to do that. I'm using all my shoulder muscles, my lats, to control this weight as it moves around. How's your imprint? Big exhale as you flex up. Awesome work. Okay, letting that go. I'm going to take us through a short cool down, but if this isn't enough cool down for you, I really encourage you to do a much more extended version of this, okay? And do a nice stretch afterwards. You'll never regret doing a nice cool down and stretch. Opening up the arms nice and wide like a field goal or cactus arms. And just feeling your chest open. Also bring your legs open wide so some of your toes are off your mat. And just slow your breath, notice your heartbeat, and then begin to do your windshield wipers. Drop one knee in and the other leg falls open. And we just go side to side. Great, and let's let both knees fall to the right. Just stay there for a moment. Take your left arm and bring it up and over into a side bend. So now we've got everything going off to the right. Both knees are dropped to the right. The left arm is reaching to the right into a side bend. Getting a nice pull down the left side of the body into the rib cage. Imagine you're trying to create space between your hip and your rib. Gently release that, release the arm back out to cactus, and then we reverse the legs, dropping to the left, and then the right arm comes up and over towards the left. We create that side bend, and then notice the space between your ribs and hips. Breathe into that space. Fantastic, and then come back to center, bringing the knees closer together. Let's hug the knees. So come into imprint and then bring the knees in, give them a nice hug. Gently rock side to side. Massage your lower back, and then forward and back as well. And then let's have one hand on each knee and just circle your knees. And let's go the other way. And then from here, we're going to extend both legs up. Now everyone's going to be a little different here. If you have really tight hamstrings, this is going to be quite difficult. Just keep a bend in your knees, okay? So if you have really tight hamstrings, you're going to want to stay about here. Or if you can, extend a little higher, but your tailbone has to stay rooted down into the mat, okay? And then holding with your hands behind your knees, gently pull your legs towards you. You're not going to move, but I just want you to give a little pressure into the back of the thigh. And then point your toes towards your eyes or your face. And then we're going to bend the knees and extend the legs. So this is just a tiny motion. Keep that tailbone rooted down. Bend the knees and extend the legs. Toes are trying to reach to you. Like a really flexed foot. Couple more. One more. Extend and little bend. Let's turn our ankles. Just hold on to your legs here. And go both directions with your ankles. And then bring the knees back in. One more hug. Rocking side to side. And let's rock all the way over to your side and come up to seated. One last stretch. Forward fold. Let's bring the legs relatively wide as you feel comfortable with. And walk your hands out, staying rooted in the sit bones. Okay, sit bones are heavy here. Reach your hands away, round your spine, draw your belly button close. Let your head be heavy. Push your hands into the floor. And breathe into your lower back. One more breath. And walking your hands back. That is your workout for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed that workout. It was definitely a sweaty one for me. And I hope to see you at the next one. Feel free to reach out with any feedback. Talk to you soon.